Hello and welcome to On a Mission, the show where we share inspiring conversations with phenomenal women who are creating success and prosperity in their lives with purpose and passion. I'm Pauline Rohdich, a success mindset coach and clinical hypnotherapist, and I'm on a personal mission to remind you that you are a beautiful soul and you have so much potential. And my intention for this show is to give you the nudge to answer your own calling and to rise up and take on your life's mission. Well, hello everybody and welcome to the latest episode of On a Mission, where I am having conversations with phenomenal women who are on their own mission. And today I'm joined by the wonderful Sharon D, or Sharon Dooley, but she's known as Sharon D. And she is an amazing lady. I've had the honor and privilege of meeting Sharon in person on a couple of occasions. So Sharon, take it away. Let's say hello to you and let's say hello to our viewers. I know many of them are looking forward to hearing what you have to say. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. I'm always great, Pauline, and thank you so much for having me on. It's an absolute privilege to be titled in the phenomenal women category, and I've seen your interviews down the weeks and they're amazing. So it's just an honor to be slotted in with a great bunch, and of course yourself. So thank you, and hi everyone. It's great to be here today.
Sharon, honestly, thank you so much. I just like a little brief introduction. There's so many things I could say about you, but I mean, I'd like everybody to know, number one, you are the mother of 7 children, ranging from 27 years of age down to 9. Amber, I know beautiful Amber, who participates in yoga with you, which is amazing. And you are soon to be a grandmother to 4 children. When is the next arrival?
The next one is coming in May. So they're coming thick and fast, Pauline. They leave home and then they just keep bringing more back with them.
So wow. Well, I think you've been leading by example there. Would you not agree?
Maybe, perhaps. I was never, ever going to have children. That's the funny thing.
Well, there you go. 7 beautiful children. Amazing. But look, you are an incredible lady. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I know bits and pieces about you. I know you were on the catwalk for many, many years. You came over from the United Kingdom to Ireland in the year 2000 and you've stayed, which we're delighted to have you here. And like, I know you do makeup and hair, although you're getting out of that. I also know that you have co-authored an Amazon best-selling book on the subject of self-love, actually called Love Thy Body. You have a whole chapter in there. Quite a revealing chapter. I know I read some of it actually when you posted on social media. Very heartwarming, very revealing and very courageous, but also incredibly timely, I think, given the times that we're in, Sharon. So look, let's just dive straight in. What lights you up?
What lights me up? I love to see growth in everything and everyone, mentally, spiritually, morally. I just think that life is for growing. I mean, if we just stay the same, then we're not growing, we're not living, you know. So growth really lights me up.
Fantastic. And in terms of, we'll say, the last year that we've all put in, like, what have you learned on a personal level from COVID-19, from lockdown, the pandemic? How has it impacted your life? Has it changed you, we'll say, in any way? Have you had to pivot in business?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's changed everyone. I mean, how could it not? It's a global pandemic. For me personally, thankfully, I've been so lucky to have nobody close to me that has been directly affected by COVID. And first of all, my heart goes out to everyone that does. Because I'm such a positive person, it's nearly like I'm like, COVID lockdown, yay! But I do not mean that. I do know sincerely that people have had struggles, totally. I suppose my struggle was, number one, you know, making sure everyone's well, making sure my children were well. Should they be mixing? They're seeing their friends perhaps breaking lockdown and mixing, and all these kind of moral issues and learning issues that we've come as a family that we we're going to do the best thing for everyone, and that we're going to, we've bonded. It was really strange when they were going back to school and the little one was like, oh, but we've got so close over COVID. And she just summed it up. We have.
Absolutely beautiful. I do think that is one of the advantages for many, and maybe not everybody, but certainly that coming together, and maybe stronger values and better quality time spent with our loved ones.
Absolutely.
And of course, the whole subject of growth, as you rightfully said. How do you feel you grew yourself?
I grew probably in 3 ways. So I've been on my own self-love journey and my own, you know, growing up, I always knew there was something in life, something more. I chose to ignore it most of the time. I chose to try and hide from it a lot of the time. It wasn't until I turned around 40 myself, when I went into my 40s, that I actually said, hold up, this is me, this is honest, this is raw. You mentioned about my book and about how honest I was. Pauline, you're not going to get anything else from me anymore. I lived a whole life of hiding. I was raised in a religion that my mom had chose, and it meant we didn't celebrate Christmas, birthdays. We went knocking on people's doors, preaching, we did all kinds of stuff. And I was embarrassed by it, quite frankly. My dad wasn't in the religion, so it was a very divided household. And I lived a lot of my life under a pretense. You know, I used to hate, in school in England, you'd have assemblies and I'd be tucked away in a room on my own doing jobs that the teachers had to make up for me to do. I just stuck out like a sore thumb. I stuck out like a sore thumb because of my colour. I grew up in a predominantly white area. I was born in Hackney in the 70s, and you know, mixed marriages. My father's white, my mum's from Trinidad. Well, my father was white, he's passed since, but yeah, I was a mixed baby that thought inside I was pretty much white. But at the same time, if I had a curry at the weekend and kids were talking about their roast dinner, I'd pretend I had one too. Yeah. I would buy Christmas cards and sneak them in my bag and give them to people because I hated getting Christmas cards and not giving them back. I grew up in a house that was hoarder, you know, so I couldn't have friends in. I had so many things going on. Added to that, I was a very awkward looking kid. Look, I'm 6 foot now, which is a blessing, but when I was the tallest kid in the class, it meant that no boys would date me. I mean, I was very awkward looking anyway, but I was like, by adults, I was treated like the responsible one, you know, look after your peers. I probably tell tales. I was left in charge of the classroom when teachers went out. I say my peers hated me, and looking back, I could understand from a child's point of view why they would. So I spent a lot of my...
But the teachers obviously saw something in you too, though, Sharon, where you were responsible and could be depended upon.
Yeah, but I think that's the role they made for me. I don't think I was allowed to be anything else because I was taller. Now, that's not a Annie Orphan story or anything like that. It's just the way it was. And people develop by the way they are. And adults have preconceived ideas of children's appearances, children's behavior. You know, you can be shaped as a child very quickly by your environment. But anyway, we'll be here forever on childhood, so we'll skip ahead. Yeah. So yeah, I lived a life of imposter syndrome severely. I would be on the catwalks and everyone would think I was the most confident person ever. I won Miss Curves Island. You know, I was up against 18-year-olds that didn't have children. At the time, I was in my 40s and I had children, and wow. I went on to win it. And I still felt like, okay, I won that, but I never appreciated it. I thought, well, I mean, I used it as a work tool to develop Islands Got Curves, which is my business, but I didn't do it as a vanity thing. I don't think I'm good looking. I don't think I'm this model type when I'm on the catwalk and people are saying all of this to me. And it's because I've carried around this imposter syndrome that people are going to tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, what do you think you're playing at? We've realized you're actually ugly, you know? So.
But you don't feel that way, Sharon. Do you genuinely feel that way now?
Oh no, not now. Sorry, I'm going back to
when you said you were in your 40s though, and you won Ireland, Miss Ireland. What was it called? Miss Curves Ireland. Did you actually feel during that particular show that you were not beautiful?
I felt that people were silly. I felt that people thought I was beautiful, and I felt like I was fooling them. It wasn't that I looked at myself and I thought, you know, I've done a lot of work. Wow, the sun's come out in Galway here today. I've done a lot of work on myself since 2016 time. The last 5 years, I've really done a lot of work. I worked really hard, Pauline, and I often did stuff just to further my business. I mean, I worked for, I won't say the name of the show, but a breakfast show in Ireland. And I would be leaving here at 3 o'clock in the morning to make sure I was on set for 6 in case something happened and whatever. And that I'd, you know, be hair and makeup ready because of behind the scenes pictures and that. And I do people's, then I travel back and I do that for around, you know, between 70 and 100 euro.
Yeah.
I mean, I was doing things, I was on like late night shows on RT, whatever, doing the makeup behind the scenes for certain guests, not every show, you know, and we'd go out afterwards to like the House Hotel, you know, different nightclubs in Dublin, and I'd no more interest going out to a nightclub. Like I had 7 kids at home, I had a husband at home. Yeah. I wouldn't drink because I wouldn't have the money to drink and stay out for the night. I'd be sober and driving home 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Just in case I missed a networking opportunity, just in case I didn't show up. I was spreading myself so thin. And that's why the inevitable probably happened, a mixture of all of this stuff. I started getting sick.
This is when you got sick, yeah.
Yeah, I started getting sick. And I didn't know, I fought against it. I was like, this isn't me, you know, positive thinking, I'm not sick, I'm a warrior. No, when you're sick and you're burnt out, you are sick and you are burnt out. There is no thing. So that started me on my self-love journey. And that started me really kind of taking care of myself and thinking stuff that I would have thought was foo-foo before. Mm-hmm. Actually, I had a really shocking awakening by saying, no, you know, I need me time. I need to recharge. I need to practice gratitude. I need affirmations. I need to celebrate my wins. But most of all, I need to be authentic. I cannot juggle so many hats anymore, wear so many masks anymore. I was always an honest person in the sense of my core values. I wouldn't be lying or maliciously doing stuff, but I was pretending.
Yes, and many people do. I mean, there's this outward persona and the inner persona. I often call it the secret self, you know, and I know you have a book there actually that you're now reading, Psycho-Cybernetics. It's a book that I've read as well. And it's an amazing book by a plastic surgeon, Dr. Maxwell Maltz, who talks, and he discovered really that we have this inner image, this sort of secret self, if you like, where that, you know, no matter how you look, and he was obviously helping people to change and alter their appearance, maybe removing a scar or helping with some facial imperfection, if you like. And some people, of course, were very, very confident after the procedure, but many weren't. Their confidence didn't change at all. Their sense of who they were did not change at all, which led him to realize that we have 2 images. And so that's really what you've described, I suppose. And then I suppose, again, equally having something such as an illness, which was fibromyalgia. Am I right?
Yes, yeah.
The fibromyalgia, which again, sometimes has been not recognized even by the medical profession over the years, but nonetheless is very real for those who have it. And were you prepared to see that as, you know, the catalyst for change? It sounds very much like this almost had to happen, but would you see it that way? That it
absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, my knowledge of fibromyalgia, I mean, honest to God, when I put money in a box, you know, on Fibromyalgia Day with the purple ribbon, I thought it was something to do with the womb. I really did not know what it was.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
By God, I know what it was now. And it takes, see, when you have fibromyalgia, it's something triggered in your mind that triggers pain to your body, tiredness to your body, confusion to your brain.
Yeah.
And it's very, very real. The symptoms are so real. You could wake up feeling like you've broken your arm, and you know you haven't broken your arm, but you would nearly go to casualty thinking you've broken your arm. And then after a while, you could be absolutely fine and be doing the garden or something. And then you feel like you're going crazy because you're like, well, am I making this up? And it's a very emotional disease. And sometimes you just wouldn't have the energy, especially at the start of my fibro journey, where I would fight against it and I'd push myself. Now we live in harmony together, believe it or not. Yes, I love not to have it, but look, we might as well get on. So I say, yes, I have fibromyalgia, but it doesn't have me. So I know my me time, my resting, through my self-love journey, we're getting along like a happy marriage, I suppose, if you want to put it that way. Whereas before we were like in the worst divorce ever.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's so fantastic, and it really is a representation, if you like, of where you're at right now. So what would you say your mission actually is?
I suppose I had a really big awakening when it came to changing your story and knowing that your story, what you have told yourself, is what you're going to get, and that if you change your story, you're going to change your life. And that, you know, learning that everyone is deserving equally in the whole universe, like all that, you know, money, health, wealth, happiness, success is out there for every one of us. And I mean, I don't want to be greedy. I have no notions of being, you know, a billion trillionaire or anything like that. But what I want is to take my balance of everything. I'm not willing to sacrifice family time anymore to try and make money. I'm not willing to. So I have a very balanced life now, and I'm just leveling it up each and every day.
No, I mean, that's fantastic, and a wonderful role model for your children and your grandchildren, I would say. What, in terms of, you know, answering this question, what will be the most difficult decision that you've ever had to make, Sharon?
Okay, so the most difficult decision, and there's one, it springs to mind straight away. I don't have a problem making decisions. I'm very snappy with my decisions, and I just go for it. And if it was
Can I interject, if you don't mind? That's a sign of a very successful person. I actually teach that to people, that
okay,
quick decision makers, really, I mean, traditionally and currently, are people that make decisions fast. So congratulations on that. Well done.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I just go for it, and if I fly, I fly. If I fall, I fall. But then I just pick up and do a different decision. You know, it's, you know, life isn't that important that you can't make a decision. But the hardest decision that I ever made was it's quite emotional. Sadly, somebody that is very close to me got in a relationship with a narcissist, basically, and I was the target of their abuse, manipulation, and not the person, but their person's partner. And it was a very close friendship, relationship for maybe 18 or so years. Mm-hmm. And for my own health, my own family's health, surrounding and everything else, I had to make the decision of saying, you go do you, I'm here for you, but mm-hmm. I can't be part of this anymore. So that was after a number of years. That was hard.
No, I can still hear the emotion, actually, Sharon. That is difficult, but, you know, good for you. Yeah. And, you know, somebody has to lead. As I always say, somebody has to take the lead. And at the end of the day, we do have to protect ourselves and create healthy boundaries around ourselves. Otherwise, what's it all about?
Yeah. And every decision you make, you have to weigh up, is it worth what you're going to lose in that decision? Do you know, I mean, when I make quick decisions, I do, but they're calculated. I'm not just jumping in like a child into the deep end of a swimming pool or anything. But yeah, you know, life, you know, you're going to have to give to take sometimes. And
well, I kind of like the idea that you either win or you learn. So
yes,
either way, that's a win to me, because, you know, I don't really see it as a fail or a lose. I think you win or you learn in life. And we've all made decisions, myself included, that haven't always gone according to plan. But then I always say, my plan is never going to be as good as God's plan. So
yeah.
when is God most in your life, or when do you feel that connection to God and your soul?
Okay, so I'm extremely close to God. God is a friend of mine that I turn to, admittedly most when I need him or her. Him, I say, when I need him more than when he needs me, because, like, you know, yeah, it's like a parent relationship, I suppose, that you turn to when you need them more, and then you come back and say, look what I did. But yeah, no, God has always, as I said, I grew up in a very religious background. We went to 5 meetings a week, and we prayed regularly, and we preached. So God was hugely in my life. Well, religion was hugely in my life. God wasn't at that point. But obviously everything that I learned and was conditioned, and it was in my subliminal state to me. I do believe in God. I believe in a higher force. I believe in, you know, living, you know, to my morals, I believe in the 10 Commandments. I'm not ashamed to say that. Nowadays, the culture's gone very much unfashionable to say that you believe in God or whatever, but I'm being my authentic self. As I said to you, you're going to get nothing but the truth. And yeah, God
and we all love that, because to be honest with you, I'm a truth teller myself. It's got me into trouble in the past, but I had a similar kind of religious upbringing, not the same what you're describing, even though you haven't said what your religion was, but I grew up with a strict Catholic influence. But similarly, I didn't feel God was usually in that equation either, that it was just mostly dogma. And I'd seen lots of evidence of a lack of God, or what I perceive God to be, which is love and kindness and energy. And I thought sometimes that was absent in the bigger picture. But no, I think personally, part of my mission really is to help people to answer their divine assignment. So the minute you hear the word divine, it's immediately connected to a higher force, or soul connection, God connection, universe energy. There's different names, I believe, for the same thing. Would you be inclined to agree with that?
Oh, absolutely, totally. And it doesn't really matter what you're going to call it. Like, I mean, I had to kind of smile to myself when I heard, I'd have a conversation with anyone. I love learning about people, and I often sit down with atheists, and we'd have a discussion, not a Bible discussion, not a religion discussion, but just a kind of banter, you know. And they'd often say things, and I'm at the point now, it's like, if somebody says to me, they get out of bed in the morning and they place one foot on the floor and say thank, and the other foot on the floor and say you, and they say thank you to the universe. To me, it's like, yeah, so do I, just in a different way.
Absolutely. I mean, I love that. I would probably say the thank yous a lot during the day for, you know, just a random, it's kind of it's always kind of playing in the background, almost like the back, like a playlist happening in the back of my mind all the time, just that place of gratitude, because I do believe gratitude immediately helps us to raise our vibration, connect with this universal intelligence, and then it opens us up for guidance and inspiration. And, you know, I suppose really when you're in that state on a continual basis, then it's probably okay the odd time to be a crisis prayer to God, help me, you know, when something's going on, because at least you're doing your duties on a daily basis by being grateful and being kind and demonstrating that. And as you are, most definitely helping other people and having your own phenomenal family, you know, with you at the helm.
Yeah, and I think as well, I suppose, and I admire that you do it all the time. That's fantastic. That's like built into your autopilot and your being and your whole chimpanzee, if you've ever heard and studied that. But yeah, no, I do mine in a book in the evening. So last thing at night, it's my gratitude journal.
Beautiful.
And I write down my 10 things, at least 10 things that I'm thankful for. And definitely the more thankful you are, the more you find to be thankful for, which is amazing. I mean, I heard you speak before on the Elaine show, Pauline, and I totally was saying amen to everything you were saying about the fact that our brains look for the negative in life. And when you twist that by using gratitude and being thankful for the things you have, you actually train your brain to be more thankful. There is no doubt about it. So every night, before I switch off the lights, I will say my prayer. I will pray with my children before they go to bed. I say a prayer with my husband if he's in the mood to. Yeah. And I write down my gratitude into my diary, and then in the morning when I wake up, I read through my gratefulness from the day before, and that just sets me up for the day in a beautiful frame of mind. So
yeah, no, that's a beautiful practice. But look, in fairness, I mean, I gained many things from my upbringing with the religious connotations as well. And I suppose the gratitude was there. My father really helped me with that side of things. So, I mean, I believe, of course, I'm in the business myself and helping people to be programmed for whatever they want. And so we can program our minds. And in fact, it's important that we do program our minds for what we actually want. And to become masterful at how we think, because often we're creating what we don't want. So it's a great opportunity just to step back. I certainly feel a lot of people I've spoken to in COVID have had that opportunity of just stepping back and reassessing and looking at their values, looking at how they're living and how they want to live going forward. So there's a great opportunity really for everybody just to realize that they can reprogram their minds just like you're doing. And gratitude is one useful, very incredible tool, because what we appreciate appreciates. And in fact, when we're in gratitude, it raises our energy, our vibration, which causes this wonderful magnetic kind of pull to more, as you say, of what you do appreciate. So that's how the laws of the universe work. And we're always working with the laws. So they're always at play. We better find out how they work.
Yes.
And actually, it's not that you're manipulating them, but that you're becoming masterful rather than manipulation, mastery of working with these laws to have better health, better relationships, more wonderful experiences. But look, books, let's go back to the books for a second. What is your favorite book at the moment? What are you enjoying at the moment reading?
See, this is my thing, right? I'm never straightforward, but if you want honest, I'm not going to just pick one. I'm going to tell you the truth. I am between 3 books at the moment. And when I used to read romance novels or whatever, I'd have to finish a book before I started the next and all the rest of it. I got out of that habit because I don't read books now. As you said, I have my book here, right? And inside my book, I've a pen. I don't read books, I study them, I underline everything. So I'm hopping at the moment between the 4 agreements, which I actually got for my 40th birthday from a friend of mine. So this is pretty dog worn at this stage. Psychoanalysis, as you said, and Ask is another one.
Who's that by? Who's the Ask book by?
This one is Ryan Leesque.
Can't see it now. Oh yeah, Levesque, is it?
Levesque, sorry.
I'm actually, no, I'm familiar with the author, but I don't actually know that particular book. But the 4 Agreements is actually one of my favorites.
Yes, definitely.
I absolutely adore that book. It's just an incredible book, 4 very simple principles to live by. And I like the author very much, in fact, and all the books, I've read them all and I listen to them on Audible. Amazing. What's your favorite quote at the moment, or all-time favorite?
My favorite quote, I love quotes, but my favorite is that you don't have to fit in when you were born to stand out. Yeah. I feel that just sums me up, because I always tried to fit in and I never did. And I realized it's because I was made to be a little bit outstanding, you know, and I don't mean that in a conceited, arrogant way. Look, I'm not even going to apologize for it. I am outstanding.
I'm glad you're not going to apologize for, because you most definitely are outstanding in every way. Sharon, having met you in person, you just have so much beautiful energy. I mean, and I know that anybody that knows you feels the very same about you. You're just incredible. Who actually said that quote? Is it an anonymous one, or has somebody?
I actually have no idea, because I must have heard it somewhere before, but when I researched it, I can't find it except for a link to the chapter in my book.
Okay.
Because that's what I called it. But that could just be my own Google history. I'm sure I got it from somewhere, but not someone. It must have been some kind of anonymous.
Yeah, no, but I'll tell you something. I mean, everything that you've described has led you now to helping people. So just please share what way you help people now and how you love helping people.
Okay, so I guess it started off in a foo-foo way. I mean, like, look, going down the years, Pauline, we could go into, I did CBT, I did a bit of counselling, I did ABA, Applied Behaviour Analyst, I did all sorts of stuff. And then I decided that I'd had enough and I needed to step away, and I become a hair and makeup artist. I also practice massage, and the healing I ignored. I was scared. If you look back to my roots, I suppose I've like all kinds of tribes in me and all sorts of different stuff. And I obviously carry a huge spiritual healing part of me that I haven't I've been scared to tap into because of religion, because of the way I was brought up, that's all like.
I can understand that, yeah.
Yeah. So I've lost myself with the question.
No, you're just saying where you're going. I mean, obviously,
yes, so
various things that you've done and where you're helping people.
Yeah.
How
I suppose even when I was doing hair and makeup, right? Have you ever not spilled your beans to the hairdresser? Like, you know, we are kind of counsellors of the chair of a very rough trade. You know, so I've always been along that way and helping a bride on the wedding morning, the most important morning of her life at that time, and just being able to nurture them through it as well. So I've always had that in me. And then after winning Miss Curves Ireland, I set up Ireland's Got Curves, which is a plus size curvy convention where people can come along and, you know, see clothes in the size that fits them, hear inspirational talks and everything else. From that, when lockdown happened, and coincidentally when my book came out, as you said, it was a #1 bestseller. It was on Kindle one week and the next week was on paperback, and they just smashed it out of the park. You know, we knocked poor Richard Brand off of his little pedestal that he'd been on for a long time. So it was amazing. But from that, I got a lot of calls, and a lot of people stuck with body image problems, putting on weight during COVID and everything else. And then I realized that everything boils down to your mindset. It doesn't matter what your issue is, it's your mindset. Whether you're having problems with business, family, relations, whatever, body image, whatever, it all boils down to how you see yourself. Mm-hmm. So I set up a page called Self Love Club IGC, a take on the Ireland's Got Curves. And yeah, I've just been working with people doing workshops, doing one-to-ones, and, you know, doing speaking events and stuff like that during lockdown. So that's where I'm being pulled, and it's actually like running up an escalator the wrong way. I'm just going to stop and just go with it at this stage. So the universe is calling me. So my mission at the moment, as I said, I'm a chameleon. I never change my core values, but I change my calling, if you like. Yeah. And at the moment, it's just to help people. You know, you've one life, you've one shot. You deserve, it's the thing people feel they don't deserve. I didn't feel I deserved to live in a tidy, organized home. I didn't feel I deserved a few things that have changed during COVID for me that I've put into place. I'm living such a better life. And I just want to share that with people, how to do it and to help people along their journey.
Look, you're just a beautiful person inside and out. There's no doubt about that. I mean, Sharon, I'm saying that from my heart to your heart. And I just know that people watching you, listening to you can feel it as well. And I certainly would encourage anybody to reach out to Sharon. How can they connect with you best? What's the easiest way? Sharon?
Probably I'm still an old school Facebooky, I suppose. And because I do different areas with the Islands Got Curves, yes, you could go islandsgotcurves.com, you could go to different places, but just reach out to me on my Facebook page. So it's Sharon Dmake, and just add me as a friend. And yeah, the reason for that name was when I was doing makeup, but look, it's become who I am.
It's evolving, I think. So
Yeah.
what advice would you give to someone who maybe is nervous about following their passion or just coming out of hiding?
I suppose fear is the biggest thing I've found that holds people back, and particularly if they've been brought up in a culture of what the neighbours will think, or what, don't let them control your life. Don't let them feelings control your life. If you put stuff on the back burner and don't do it because of fear, it's going to either burn you out or it's going to fizzle out, and
Very
you've
true.
one shot. Sometimes you just have to leap, and that's the hardest thing. And once you leap, then you've no choice but to sort it out. There's lots of people spend years over getting the perfect website up or doing this or doing. Look, just do it. I've just explained where I'm being torn on my journey. I haven't a website up yet for that things. I've sent you to my Facebook page. Look, just do it and the rest will follow.
No, that's wonderful advice. And I completely wholeheartedly agree. Fear is there. But one thing for sure is when you actually push through it, that thing that you were afraid of is never as scary on the other side. It's really bizarre, isn't it? Like it's never actually scary. So suddenly you take the leap and you're the other side of it. And you say, if you do take the time to pause and reassess, actually, this was not as scary at all. And I've been putting this off for way too long. So that's part of my mission too, Sharon, is to help people recognize that we're all perfectly imperfect. Our spiritual DNA is the perfect part of us. That's our essence. As you say, you're a chameleon, but the core of you is basically the same, regardless of what you've done. You'll still do it with the same love, the same attitude, whether it was the makeup, the hair, now you're helping people, or as the author, and now you're helping people in a different way. And so the chameleon, I suppose, really is the coat that we might have on, or the hat we might put on. And I've had many myself, but really, I too want to help people, which is the purpose of these conversations with women just like yourself, is just to show other women that, there is a truth that is pertinent to you, each person, each one of us. And when we decide to listen to that truth, we will be guided. So would you, just so that we can finish off, do you feel that you have been led?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I've always had this aura, guardian angel, whatever, this cape around me that is definitely, I've never worried. There's a scripture that that I did carry with me, was that if he provides for, is it the little sparrows in the garden, he'll provide for you. Money has never, I never felt I deserved money. I do now, just recently, but I've always lived kind of a pauperish kind of life. Well, with 7 kids, you're going to live a pauperish life anyway, but I've never striven for the big family holidays abroad or anything, because that wasn't my story at that time. But yeah, I just feel that, again, I've lost the question, Pauline. Sorry, no, my fibre is at me today.
No, it's okay. What I was saying to you was, and I think I might have lost the question too, but I was just asking, just to finish.
Oh, about the guiding.
Yeah. Yes. Being led.
Yeah, so I always feel not to worry, that I will never end up. Look, I mean, when I was touted as a model, Pauline, I was homeless. I was in a homeless shelter with 2 children. I hadn't even washed that day or many days. My hair was greasy, I had no makeup. Look, if something's there, it's going to take you, no matter what your circumstances are. So yes,
I mean, that's incredible, actually.
Yeah, I was at the lowest ebb, I suppose you could say, and only for I was so desperate for money. I was waiting for the cameras to come out saying, "Ha, pranked you," when this agent came up to me. I had gained weight. I was feeling nothing model-like. I was feeling the lowest I've ever felt. And, you know, there's always, you know, they're going to provide for you. No matter what, you're going to be provided for.
That comes back to, I guess, this whole idea about trusting in the higher forces, in trusting in this invisible realm, if you like, that we're a part of. I mean, I think the whole purpose of our life is to remember our magnificence ultimately, and those are the telltale signs along the way. And we meet people on our path, and things happen for us to wake us up, to remember who we are, and to get on board and to get on our own individual missions, because we're all here, unique beings with our own individual gifts and talents. And I'm speaking to the viewer right now, and the person listening to this, you most definitely have gifts and talents, and your fear is normal. Everybody feels it. Sharon felt it. Every other guest I've had on the show felt it. I've certainly felt it. And every time we grow, and you talked about growth, you still get afraid because you're doing something you haven't done before. It is actually part of growth. Fear and growth are hand in hand. It's just part. We just have to accept that it's part of it. But like I said earlier on, once you make that leap, it's never as scary. Sharon, you have been an absolute joy to speak with, and I'm sure everybody's going to love this. And so thank you so much for being you. Keep doing you. You're amazing. And, you know, you definitely do fit in this phenomenal women tribe. And so it's great to have you on board. And for those of you listening, you know, on the podcast, please like us. And I'm asking for that now because it's a fairly new show. And also on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel. And also, if you'd like to be a guest, reach out, because I recommend phenomenal women. I want to just share conversations with beautiful women like Sharon and all the ladies that have gone before, and those that have yet to come on this show, just to show that we're ordinary people, but we are capable of doing extraordinary things, and that includes you. So I'll end up with that right now, and I want to say thank you so much, Sharon.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to this show so that you will be notified when the next episode is released. And remember, keep believing. You're amazing, and you have so much to give. Now is your time.